Hello, guys, and welcome back to CornBread. This is episode
Fuck knows.
117.
No,
18?
you've definitely gone too far. You've gone too far, sir.
Oh, I don't think so.
I can tell you, it is actually episode. This is a multimedia verse production, by the way.
Multimedia verse
This is 114.
114.
Yeah, last week was Callum's Eiffel Tower. That was what I called the episode in the end because I couldn't think of what else to call it, and I thought that might pique some interest.
Yeah. What the fuck? Who's he doing it with?
Yeah. But as you can see and hear, we are Callumless again. And he texted us earlier, and he said that unfortunately he was unable to be with us because he had started doing nude modelling. Again. Yeah. He started doing nude modelling, but what's really interesting is the incorporation of fruit.
Yeah.
Right? So...
In what context?
Yeah, exactly. So basically what it is it's that, like, mysterious aspect of how long is the banana, because you can't quite tell, because some of it is, in him.
In the him.
Exactly, yeah.
So you never know really where it ends.
Exactly, yeah. And I think he's been testing it out with different fruits, seeing how far he can push his boundaries to then have artists incorporate the pain and bemusement, sometimes enjoyment, on his face.
Yeah.
And then they'll share the fruit afterwards.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what Callum. That's what he's told us. That's why he hasn't been able to join us this week.
We wish him luck.
Yeah.
In all of his
I hope you
ventures.
managed to get that pineapple out your ass, Callum. That'll be. There's always things up his ass. I've just clocked. Kind of forgot what last week's was, but. Hey ho.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. But we are gonna talk about a film that the three of us watched together, but due to not having Callum for a few episodes now, we wanted to talk about it for a couple reasons. One, we haven't really had a chance to go back and discuss the fact that we had the amazing Maddie Harris on our podcast, and two, because we've reviewed one and then we've reviewed three and then we actually haven't reviewed two, so we are going to talk about Paddington 2.
The most weird trilogy ever.
Yeah. We've gone a bit, all a bit random.
We watched them in order.
We watched them in order, and we would have, had we not been interviewing Maddie, we wouldn't have reviewed Paddington 3 when we did.
No.
It's just because we were like, we want to time it well, didn't we? Capitalise on the fact that we had, Maddie on the podcast. So we're going to...
after anyway.
Yeah, it all went bloody tits up regardless, didn't it? But we've not been very organised this year. We are going to strive to be more organised next year. Routine episodes. Hopefully, if Cal can just stop doing all these random shenanigans.
Yeah, I get it. There's a lot to do in the world.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. But sometimes you got to remember where your
young.
Heart is. Yeah.
He's still young.
Exploring his anus apparently.
Exploring his boundaries as a person.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep calling the episodes like
stuff about
Callum's fruity anus is gonna be this one until
we gotta be a bit more.
Yeah, a bit more. Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
Banana bottom.
Bananas in pajamas. Bananas in Cal's ass.
Yeah. Bananas in Cal's booty. But yeah.
Well, we need to do calzone.
Calzone.
At some point.
Yeah, we do need to. We need to be a bit more clever with our word plays, maybe. Because Cal is a real malleable name. Calleable. That's it.
One for one.
Anyway, so let's back on
track.
Back on topic. I've got my Christmas pillow. I'm ready.
Yeah, ready.
You like when you sit down? Do you like hug a pillow?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's comfy, isn't it?
Depends what I'm doing.
Can you spin a pillow on your finger?
No.
No, watch this. Ready? Ready? Oh no, hang on.
Oh
no, the microphone.
You're gonna ruin the audio.
Oh no, this is not a good spinning pillow. I'll show you later.
I can't wait. I'm gonna have to cut this episode short.
Yeah.
Just so I can see that.
Yeah, I'll upload it on our TikTok at one point in 6 months or something when we remember that I need to do it.
We forgot that we actually did that.
Yeah, I can spin them on my finger, but it has to be like the right pillow.
Oh yeah.
And this is a lovely pillow, but it isn't a spinning.
Bad workman always blames his tools.
It's not a spinning pillow, I'm afraid to say. I thought it kind of looked like a Christmas jumper on this, and I'm like, haha, it's a pillow.
Unlucky.
Haha. Cool. Sorry.
Get back to topic, mate. Let's do it. Paddington 2.
Paddington 2. So Paddington 2, one of the very exclusive elite clubs of
100
being
Club.
The 100 Club on Rotten Tomatoes, universally loved, classic whimsy and wholesomeness, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good values to be learned from Paddington in this film. But I think, to be honest, I kind of rate both of them similar, apart from the fact that this one has a much better villain.
Yeah.
And like
It's more solid, I think, just
Yeah.
overall. It's like they refined the film
Yeah.
rather than trying to up it.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we know what we did in one worked,
Yeah.
so we might as well, stick to what we know, but, just tweak it
Yeah.
to make it just right.
Yeah. I think it captures how Americans perceive London as really well. Like,
Yeah.
It's definitely not like that, but I like that that's like, it's like cinema London, isn't
Yeah.
it? But I think it does it so well, and it makes you wish that it was more like that.
Yeah.
In this little wholesome little neighbourhood, and everyone's just jolly, and yeah, it's just a really, really good film. Like, you can't really fault it, can you? I think it's just a personal preference whether you'd be like, this is a classic, or it's like just a great film.
Yeah.
But there's no way anyone could argue and say it's not a good film.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
The only people that would have anything negative to say about it is people who haven't seen it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think you can watch that film and be like, oh, I didn't like that about it.
Yeah.
Or like, that was rubbish.
Yeah, this is it. It's just lush. You'd have to be. I think you have to be a bit of a pessimist.
Yeah.
And like not that like fussed on the happiness.
Just take
in
it
life.
too seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's not The
Really?
Godfather good. So
Yeah.
it's like, why is it? It's like, oh, it
Yeah.
can still be good at what it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
To like
yeah.
a point where like it's faultless.
Yeah, it is. It is for what it is. It's faultless. It's one of the best films of its like genre, I guess, of like family-friendly films that are appealable to adults as well as
Yeah.
kids. But it does all its like things really well. It establishes each character as like the family. They all have their thing, and then it all kind of comes back to play in the end, doesn't it? The yoga bit with the train and the dive to save Paddington and.
All
But
the
yeah,
robot shit that the boy does.
what's that?
All the robot shit. That
Yeah,
the
the
boy
weird
does.
robot shit, and Maddie Harris's character was the reporter, wasn't she?
Oh
So
yeah,
she was printing out all the stuff and running it in the newspapers. Like they all have their thing that they're doing that then incorporates into the theme of the film.
And
Which
it all felt significant as well.
yeah, this is it. It didn't feel. It was definitely. I think it was incorporated better than what they did in Peru. I would say. Yeah, it's just a great film.
Yeah.
I can't. I love the fact there's so many British faces in it.
Yeah, that's always
Brendan
the highlight.
Gleeson is just great in it, isn't he?
Yeah.
When he gets his hard stare. And he's
Jamie
like, "Oh."
Dimitri pops up
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
for like a little
Just like
bit.
loads of faces. Isn't
Yeah,
there? A lot of Peep
all the
Show
people
ones.
that kind of come along the like marketplace area outside their home.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many faces,
Peter
isn't there?
Capaldi.
Peter Capaldi, and I forget their names, but like the girl from
Yeah.
Spaced and Shaun of the Dead, and
Yeah.
the guy from whatever his fucking face is.
He's
The
in Johnny
Armstrong
English,
show,
isn't he?
isn't he? Johnny,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah,
Does
he
he
plays
play his
the-
like sidekick
Yeah.
that does everything really right?
Benson or something. Or like
Yeah,
Boffin.
Boffin.
Boff.
Yeah, because there's the bit where he's like
Seven.
Johnny English is like
He's in the cemetery.
yeah. And there's the bit where he's in the jail cell,
Come on,
isn't
John, come on.
he? And he's like, if I blow in a certain way,
Yeah.
the Tibetan monks would say that you could unlock a lock, and and then Boffin just unlocks the door.
Flip him.
Like, flip him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in that. But yeah, I don't know what his name is.
That's, do you know what, the second Johnny English, whatever it's called, Reborn, was the best nap I've ever had.
Wait, one of
I-
Daniel Kaluuya's
I
first
managed to-
films.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah.
I think I watched 5 minutes of it, and I was fucking hanging, and it was shit. I slept for an hour and a half.
Well, it came out when I was about 12.
Yeah,
So I like
you
loved it.
So I think the first one came out in 2001. So I would have been like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the tits. I loved it.
I loved Johnny English one.
Yeah.
It's definitely the best.
Yeah.
And
And
you
there's a third one.
It's awful.
I can
I
imagine
watched
it's
it.
awful.
It is bad.
Yeah.
But there's a song that they made specifically for Johnny English by Robbie Williams with a band for all seasons.
Yeah.
It's class.
That's hysterical.
That's the intro.
Um,
But yeah, back to Paddington.
Paddington.
Yeah, Johnny English is great, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, but Paddington is Paddington 2 is it's a classic for a reason, isn't it? And it's one of those films that gets referenced so much in popular culture. Did you see the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
Yeah.
You did, and there's the bit
With
where
Pedro
Pascal and
yeah,
Nicolas
yeah,
Cage, and they go through their 3 favourite films, and Pedro's like Paddington 2, and then they
It's
watch
like,
it
what?
together and
Yeah.
they just cry together.
Well, that's literally a prime example of what.
Yeah,
What
but there's
happens.
so many films that reference Paddington 2 as like
Yeah.
their like go-to film, and it's just like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'd probably give it like a 9.5 out of 10, but for me it is a 10 out of 10 film
Yeah.
for what it is. But it's just
Yeah.
for me, it's just personally it's a 9.5.
Yeah.
I'd said it's just there's literally nothing wrong with it.
No.
I
Oh
would
yeah,
say.
I'd probably give it a 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just lush,
Oh yeah.
isn't it?
Oh, there's literally nothing
no.
like.
Hugh
can say
Grant's
it's
so good.
kiddie,
I
but
mean, all the
it's-
cast, the whole family are great in it. Ben Whishaw does great voice work as Paddington as well, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Like, it's just, yeah, it just can't beat it. It's just colourful and, yeah, I think it's that sense of whimsy, but there's no fantastical elements in it,
No.
bar a talking bear. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's all just
charming.
London, but it's just,
charming,
yeah, it's supremely charming.
It's very reminiscent of that. Well, no, it's not. It's just reminiscent of tourism England, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the
It's like everything that
the immigrant experience, isn't it?
That people
Almost,
want
and-
it to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Rather
it's
than
great.
what it actually is.
Yeah, it's really good and topical. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Paddington 2 for you.
Yeah, there we go. That is what that is.
Finally, done the
Finally,
trilogy.
yeah. Sorry, Cal, if you're actually end up editing this one, but I was like, we've had to pull the plug there because we've been sat on that for too long now.
So potentially one of the better cinematic trilogies in existence.
I'd say so.
Super solid first two, and a good but not great
Yeah.
last.
Yeah, I'd say it follows a similar
Bit like
thematic
Star
path
Wars.
to Star Wars. Yeah.
The original.
I'd say the first one's a classic. The second one somehow
Is
becomes
yeah.
more of a classic, and then the third one is
Yeah.
still good.
We like it.
Yeah, yeah. Funnily enough, the bears in Return of the Jedi are the problem in that one. It's the
Yeah.
fucking little Ewoks.
Yeah, maybe they're just back in this in
Yeah.
Paddington.
Yeah.
What happened to the Ewoks?
That would be great. I want to watch sci-fi Paddington where Paddington's an Ewok.
Meets all like the bear characters.
Yeah,
like
and he gets
Yogi
taken.
Bear.
He gets taken off of Endor, and then they go to Coruscant, and then he's like customized, like learning the ways of
I
the
think
Jedi.
You have to build up. You have to build up to intergalactic space travel. I think. You have
Yeah.
to like set the.
That's what the boy will invent it, won't he? The inventor kid. What's his
Oh,
name?
of course,
Jonathan.
yeah.
Is it the kid called Jonathan?
Johnny or something.
Johnny.
Johnny.
Johnny. He'll invent space travel, and then sorted.
Nice.
Maybe the
In a galaxy
Ewoks
far,
from
far
Endor,
away.
their overlord was Paddington. Maybe he was their Adam and Eve.
Wow. So it's
Paddington.
wow.
And,
It's like we're going like time travel as well.
yeah, it's all. I mean, it's all shenanigans.
It's all a
yeah.
theory. It's all just.
I'd love that. Anyway, that is our hypothetical. Kathleen Kennedy, if you're listening,
Yeah.
make it happen.
Yeah. Paddington in space.
Yeah. Put a chick in it and make her lame and gay. As the South Park thing has been. Have you seen that?
What?
Have you not seen that? It's like it's so funny. It's not like a great episode of South Park, but basically Cartman has like a freak out because he's just a bastard, but he has like an absolute freak out about all the inclusivity that's going on.
Right. Is this
Excuse
the
me.
Pandaverse one?
The Pandaverse one. And he basically freaks out because Kathleen Kennedy keeps like changing the genders and like ethnicities of all the characters. So he goes to an alternate universe where all of their 4 characters have been replaced by like black women.
Yes, I've seen that. I have
And
seen
in this
one.
universe, Cartman is Kathleen Kennedy, and they're like they keep pitching her
It's like
films.
Freaky Friday.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's a bit of a weird swap. I can't quite remember it like completely detailed, but they basically every time they sort of pitch a film to Kathleen Kennedy, she's like, "Oh yeah, it sounds great, but put a chick in her to make her gay, make her lame and gay." Like for every film, they like pitch it to her, and they're like, "Yeah, but no one's watching them," and she's like, "I don't care, I don't give a shit." Like it's so funny. I mean, it's total nonsense, but like, yeah, it
hits the nail on the head.
it is funny. But yeah, but it does it without being like, it's wrong. It's just funny.
Yeah.
That everyone's sort of commenting on it, and it's relevant. It's not saying we shouldn't be inclusive. It's just a funny comment made because Disney have been bombarded with like accusations of just putting in all these like ethnically diverse characters in, and then not supporting them when fans sort of.
And it's all just an emphasis of, or like a, it's built up. It's not what it actually is like.
Yeah.
Like from both sides. Like someone reacting to the film wouldn't actually go as far as doing that.
Yeah.
And like the
Yeah.
same as like one of the execs wouldn't be like, we got to pitch chicken,
Yeah.
make a gang,
Yeah. Fucking good. So, but it's just super silly.
Yeah.
And then obviously parodying the fact that everything's just like a multiversal project nowadays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
literally is.
Always picks like so many things. But yeah. Anyway.
Wicked.
So yeah, we've done Paddington 2.
Done. Tick.
Tick tick. Ta-doo. So now should we move to our weekly roundup? Do you want to kick us off? Because I felt like I talked for so much last episode. It was like 5 films.
So the film, not a film. I think it was a film. Good start. The series that I watched a couple of weeks ago now that I was going to talk about last episode, but hadn't obviously finished. I've finished now.
Can't remember what this was.
I watched Wu-Tang, an American Saga.
Oh, the Disney Plus one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a story of how the Wu-Tang was formed, and it stops at the release of like
Enter the 36
Wu-Tang
Chambers.
Forever.
Oh.
So yeah, so the first season focuses on the whole clan coming together.
Right.
Because they're all from different backgrounds. Some of them hate each other. Some of them are like, friends since childhood. Some of them are related.
It's a bizarre little band, isn't it?
So it's like, it starts off as 8 people and then goes into 9.
Yeah.
And then eventually I think they expand even more. But yeah, the first season focuses on the start of them and leads up to the release of Enter the 36 Chambers. Second season deals with Enter the 36 Chambers release and then Wu-Tang coming up as a label and all everything that came after that. So obviously they focused on releasing.
Enter the 36, sorry, that was their first album.
That was their first studio album,
yeah.
And it was basically just an amalgamation of like mixtapes they'd made and just shit they put together. But everyone in the clan's on the album.
Right,
which is what makes it an album.
Yeah.
And then after the release of that, they want to keep pushing themselves out, so they focus on getting the individual artists signed. And it kind of explores kind of like all of the different aspects from each person in the group, because obviously they've all got different backgrounds, so it's each perspective is going to be different. So some feel like they're getting neglected because people like Old Dirty Bastard and Method Man get so popular at the initial release.
Because it was them and the RZA that had like quite big albums, solo albums after it, didn't they? I think.
Yeah,
RZA's like a director, isn't he? As well.
RZA does loads of stuff. So he produces the whole thing. I think he wrote all of it as well.
Oh, okay.
With some other guy. So it's all influenced by him, and it's all accurate as well. I think a lot of it, some of it's probably done to like dramatise it a bit.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine it's all super 100% to the dot. Some of it's obviously just
you got to make it
emotional
a bit
beats for the show, tempo. But yeah, so after they focus on getting the individual artists signed, the third season, so I think at the second season they did a tour, end of the second season, and then the third season is them kind of coming to terms with how popular they are, and like RZA wants a new sound for the new album, and then eventually at the end the new album's released. But it does some really cool episodes. So it takes like, for example, Liquid Swords, which is Jizza, RZA's cousin.
Right.
When they'll take the album and they'll make an episode about the creation of the album, and like, so especially in the third one, they're all kind of analogies or allegorical films, I think they call them. So Old Dirty Bastard's got one, which is kind of like a Black Dynamite kind of old Dolomite style.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's like this old like kung fu guy.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's like got to do a Austin Powers like mission, whatever. And then you've got Jizza's episode Liquid Swords, where he's like an old like Japanese samurai film, where he's got like bring peace to the whole colony to whatever. And I think they're really cool episodes. Like they work really well as standalones, but they also work with bringing perspective of the characters.
Yeah. So there's 2 seasons.
3 seasons.
3 seasons.
Yeah.
Are there any more going to come, or is it
No, I
done
think
now?
it's finished now.
Finito.
Yeah, it feels like a good point to stop.
Yeah.
But like, it also feels like it could go on.
Mm.
There's some really, really solid acting in it all the way throughout. A lot of great talent. Obviously got Shamik Moore, who plays Raekwon, who is the voice of Miles Morales.
Yeah, he is.
I'm gonna have to get this up. That's bad.
Get it up, big boy.
Yeah.
I love the first album. I've not actually listened to much solo stuff, maybe bits and bobs.
Yeah.
I've played the PS1 game, Enter the 36 Chambers, which is like a Tekken style brawler, which is interesting to say the least. Because there's obviously a lot of themed is like sort of fighting and my Wu-Tang sword style.
Yeah,
like.
yeah, it is. It's all like, it was like, you know, those Enter the Dragon, like,
Yeah.
that era of films, that awful American
I nearly watched
dub.
that the other night.
You haven't seen it?
No, I've got it on Blu-ray, but I nearly watched it, but I watched Boy and the Heron instead.
Oh, okay. Was that last night?
That was last. Yeah, that was last night. I was a bit like, if you said you wanted to watch it, I'd have watched Enter the
I
Dragon.
mean, we can watch Enter the Dragon
Yeah.
instead of Perfect Blue.
Let's see how we
We'll
go.
see how we go.
See how the time
So I've
goes.
got it
I
on
don't know how
Steelbook.
long it is. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
But you need to watch it for your 3, 2, 1.
I do.
Mm.
We'll come back to that.
We'll come back. Yeah, sorry.
But
folks.
anyway, Ashton Sanders, who is in Moonlight,
Okay.
who plays the second
Middle.
parable. Yeah.
Yeah.
A highlight for me was the guy who played Ghostface Killer.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I could. There's no way I could name all 9 Wu-Tang members.
I can now.
So you've got. Hang on then.
Try.
Old Dirty Bastard, Method Man,
Yep.
RZA Jizza,
4.
Ghostface Killer.
Yep.
There's one more on the tip of my tongue, but I've forgot it, and I don't think
We've
I can get
mentioned
any
him.
more. Oh yeah, no, it's gone out of my head. And then there's 3 more that I'm definitely not gonna be able to get. So what's the 4th one? The 6th one that I meant.
Raekwon.
Raekwon, yeah, and then there's 3 more. Which
You God.
yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
Inspector Deck.
No, wouldn't have got that.
And then the 9th member is also Master Killer.
Wouldn't have got that.
Yeah.
No, I'd have got 6 if I'd have remembered the one, whatever the other one. I've forgotten
Yeah.
it again already, but yeah.
Yeah, but it was great, really good. It's like really wise in some episodes as well, because it uses, obviously, I think they're quite a grounded group. You know, they had to do what they used to do to survive.
Yeah.
And
Are they Detroit? Because
New
they're.
York.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
they're East Coast, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, East Coast, New York.
East Coast.
Some of them from Jersey
Wu-Tang!
originally, I think.
Wu-Tang. When I saw them, they were like, "Do the Wu-Tang!"
Yeah.
Everyone in the car, Wu-Tang, Woo!
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. What'd you give it? Are you gonna do individual or?
Yeah,
like
so I think season 1 is season 1 is probably the best season.
Okay.
It's probably, I'll give it a 9.5.
Woo-wee.
Just because I've big Wu-Tang fan.
Yeah.
Flan.
Flan.
Wu-Tang flan.
Let's make a Wu-Tang flan. That is definitely like
We got to do that.
gangster cooking, gangster cookery book. Wu-Tang
yeah, it's just
flan.
shaped like the Wu-Tang
Yeah.
logo.
Oh, now I'm trying to think of fucking like.
Let's save it. 'Cause I got, yeah.
I'll text them.
I'm a big Wu-Tang fan anyway. And they focus on an episode will be like the making of one of the songs.
Yeah.
So like you start off like hearing maybe like a part of the beat and you're like, oh, that sounds a bit familiar. And they start going into it. And you're like,
Oh, sorry,
really
this has
cool.
actually unlocked a memory for me, and I'm not going to be able to remember what it was from. Hang on very quickly. It is relevant. So I watched something very recently, and it had the piano. I think it was
What, from
Chef.
Cream?
I think it was Chef. It was Chef. Chef has the piano in it from Cream. It was in the background, and I was like, but it's just the piano, and it's not
Well,
like
probably be
even
the original.
it's not even a straight lift. It's just the original. Yeah.
What they got the sample from.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, I can't quite get it. It took me ages, and then I eventually sort of got there. But yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Yeah, so they do some episodes where they're building the tracks, and it's really cool to see like some of your favorite tracks built from the ground up, and like I wonder how accurate it was to the process.
Yeah.
Because it feels like it was like
Pretty decent.
it was literally like they'd just be like free, like riffing, and then something would just like
Riffing.
click, and it'd be
Yeah.
like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's like it was really just as simple as that, just putting these great minds together. and like letting the magic happen.
Mm.
So that's what I really liked about season 1. Season 2, it is good, but I feel like it kind of, I don't know, it just wasn't as good. I give it a 9.
Okay.
Just I think 'cause the group splits up a bit more.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I wasn't expecting it because I didn't really know like the history to like the details of all the trials and tribulations of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
And it's like it was quite interesting to see it all pan out. But yeah, I give that a 9. And then season 3, I also really liked as well because it's like the reinvention of Wu-Tang. Instead of using samples, RZA got in live orchestra and just like got him to fucking just play stuff.
Right. Okay.
And he was like, "Oh yeah, that'll work." And then he'll like use that and build the beat upon that.
Okay.
Which is really cool. But that man is just a fucking genius. I think I give it a 9.5 as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some high scores
Yeah,
there.
it's like everything that a Wu-Tang fan,
Would
a
like.
white Wu-Tang fan
Yeah.
that's got like no black culture, like that wants to have black culture. It's like everything they'd want to see.
Okay. You.
Me.
Yeah, fair.
But it's great. Yeah. Cool. Big up the Wu-Tang.
Big up. It's a stick up.
Wu-Tang is here forever.
Yeah, nice. Well, Wu-Tang Flan. Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about pastry dessert-based rappers now. Like I was trying to think of one for Tupac. I felt like that'd be really easy, but I can't think of one. Pac. What sounds like Pac? Tupac. M&M's. Yeah, that's easy. Anyway, I'm going to talk about a thing. I saw a film. So I met up with Kit the other day, and we went to see Moana 2.
Oh, did you?
We did, yeah. And it was shit.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really not very good.
Oh.
I mean, it's not shit, but it's like
It's
very
not,
middling.
Not
yeah.
anything like the first.
So it's basically, I don't think it adds anything into her journey. So I will say this, the first Moana, to me, is potentially my favourite Disney film. It maybe doesn't quite hit...
Excluding Pixar.
Yeah. Of like core Disney
Yeah.
films. The Lion King comes very high. I mean, it's quite hard to beat The Lion King. But Moana, I just think... I love it. I love it so much. I think basically every track is banging in it. I think her journey of self-exploration and one's duty to their family and the fact that divides her and is splitting her, and all of that and her obligations to her tribe, I just think it's amazing. I think it's so perfect. It's such a good film. Whereas this one, the problem is basically the same. I think its saving grace slightly is that it adds in that she's got a little sister. So there's the only sort of thematic difference is that she's leaving, and it is in the first film hard for her to leave her parents, but really she's fallen out with her dad, so it's a bit easier. Whereas this one, the thing that's holding her back is not wanting to leave her little sister behind, who is like, I don't know, 3 or 4. And it's quite that weighs a bit heavy on the heart, I would say. That's probably the bit that the film does the best. But the new songs are nothing compared to the first film.
Is it Lin-Manuel?
No.
No, there you go.
Yeah, so this is the problem, and I think that it's interesting that Lin-Manuel Miranda kind of has been a bit everywhere, but he could have really done with coming back for this because he did a banging job with the Encanto soundtrack. And so the reason why he hasn't done Moana 2, as far as I'm aware, is because that he's done the Mufasa soundtrack.
Okay.
Which then might make Mufasa really fucking good, because I wasn't actually that bothered by the prospect of seeing Mufasa. And
it looks just like the one that came out in 2016.
Yeah, it is. It's the same sort of animation style. But do you know who it's directed by?
Who?
You won't fucking guess it. Not a chance would you guess it.
Can you give me a clue?
The director has won an Oscar.
Recently?
Within the past 10 years.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay, the next level clue. We've already talked about one of their films this evening. Yeah. Very loosely referenced. I'll give you a much easier clue if you like.
I'm trying to think of what films we've...
It wasn't like one we reviewed. But I'm going to give you a much easier clue just to connect the dots here slightly for you. I'll say one word. You ready? Sand job.
Oh, fucking... Oh.
Come on, you can get this.
Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins. How weird is that, though? So he's obviously done Moonlight and If Beale Street Can Talk and some other things. Amazing director. Randomly is doing a Lion King prequel musical. It's just random, isn't it?
Barry, what's up, man?
Barry, to me that could make it amazing. It's got an amazing director and an amazing songwriter doing the tunes. But I just feel like no one really cares about it.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it. No. So yeah, but anyway, so coming back to it, so yeah, that could be cool. But I'm going to wait for the reviews before I sort of commit to seeing that one. But yeah, so Moana 2, back on course. Yeah, so it's fine. I mean, it just relies too much on the quality of the first one, where there is no quality of this one. The story is iffy. There's kind of like a cool character that you think is going to be the bad guy, and then isn't the bad guy, and then disappears for the last third of the film, which is a bit odd. The bad guy doesn't have like a face as such. It's like a god that's just doing bad shit. I mean, it looks amazing, but because the first one looked amazing, the water effects in the first one are unbelievably good. Yeah. This one is the same, and it looks good, but you're not like stricken by how amazing it is. There's too many callbacks to like the first film, like casually just being like Moana being like, I don't know how far I'll go, or the fucking Maui just being like, well, you're welcome. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just too much of that.
All like the popular points. That, like, talked about.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we remember that.
Well, yeah.
That happened in our universe.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, we know who we are, and it's all those basically just saying the song titles, and all it's doing is reminding you that there is a better film with better songs out there. None of the songs stuck out to me. I mean, the Rocks one kind of has stuck out for me because it's not great. It's not like, it's just a bit weird. It's about fighting. It's a bit odd. He's like training up Moana, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
So after, You're Welcome blew up.
You're Welcome's a great tune.
It was massive. It was everywhere. It's like Let It Go. And obviously not quite as big as Let It Go, but
no, yeah,
it's like on that level.
And then like, if you're gonna rely that heavily on nostalgia, at least bring fucking Jermaine Clement's Crab back and do some kind of fucking weird shit with him, because he's fucking brilliant in it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a bit off. So apparently it was designed to be a TV show, and then they were like, actually, why the fuck are we releasing this as a TV show? Because the movie made nearly $1 billion, and everyone just wants a sequel nowadays, don't they? And this film made like 600 million, like straight away. Like almost in its opening week, it's made like 600 mil or something fucking ridiculous worldwide. It's been absolutely bonkers how much it's made.
Bonkers,
yeah, it's been absolutely insane how much the film has made already. But yeah, so yeah, and then they turned it into a film, and you can kind of see that because it just all feels a bit strange, not as well wrote, or the songs are nothing to shout home about. The voice acting's fine. You get a few new characters that are alright, but it's nothing special. Nothing special at all. Too many callbacks to the previous and much better film. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh,
yeah, it's pretty rough.
What would you give Moana 1 in contrast?
Probably a 10.
A 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 10. I cannot find fault with it. It makes me. I think it's humorous. Songs are great. The emotional resonance not only hits with the story, but also hits with the songs. And when I watch it, if I'm like actually paying attention to it and engrossed in it, I haven't just got it on in the background or whatever. When she gets to that point in her story where she is singing the song from the start of the song, and then she gets to the end of her boat and just says, "I am Moana," like in full tilt, I full on get those like tingle feels. Do you know what I mean? Because it's just so well done, and it doesn't feel corny, as in like I am
corny bread.
I am me. Yeah, it doesn't feel corny bread. It's just like, it's not like, I am me, I accept who I am. Yeah. It all feels so relevant because she's been so torn for that whole film, and then she just accepts that both parts of her can coexist. Whereas for the whole film, she hasn't felt that. Yeah, I cannot fault the first Moana.
I love it. It's probably one of my favourite Disney films.
Yeah,
I think obviously it's a musical as well, so it kind of separates it a bit from some of the other ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic film. Gorgeous looking.
I love the water in it so much.
Yeah, it just makes you want to be where they are.
Yeah. Hey, he's done it.
Hey.
You're like fucking Moana too,
Cool.
mate. Just fucking referencing.
Yeah, mate.
So
Disney
yeah,
hire me.
yeah, yeah. That's all you need to do. Put a chicken in to make her gay.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be banging.
But
I'll
yeah.
get this podcast off the ground.
Oh dear. Anyway, so that's my World Moana 2 preview review.
Preview review.
Preview review.
Is it a preview or is it a review?
It's a review. It's not a preview. It's a previewed reviewed review. A reviewed preview. Anyway, go on. Take it away, Ernie. What else have you got?
So
for
I've
us?
watched. Yeah, I've been watching a fair few films recently.
Mhm.
I just probably gonna roll through a few of them. Not go too in depth because they're mainly like comedies and like
Yeah.
feel good, whatever.
Yeah.
So kick it off. I've watched Planes, Trains and Automobiles.
Never seen it.
So it's John Hughes.
And
So same bloke who did Breakfast Club.
Steve Martin, isn't it?
John Hughes directed it.
Oh, sorry,
yeah.
John. Yes.
John Candy.
John
and
Candy
Steve
and
Martin.
Steve Martin. Yeah, I'm with you.
And they're trying to get home for Thanksgiving, and they're just they get on a plane and the plane can't land in Chicago where they're trying to go because it's too.
Do they then
snowy.
catch a train?
They try and get a train,
And that doesn't work.
yeah,
And do they then get an automobile?
yeah.
Yeah.
You got
okay,
it, you
I
got
it.
And all kinds of shenanigans ensue.
Yeah.
They have such great chemistry off each other.
And they are legends, aren't they?
They are. I
Is
think
it good?
it is
So,
great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it still funny? 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
sometimes find going back to some of those older comedies that are classics, I don't find them that
I
funny.
think John Candy can. It just has that charm.
Yeah,
He's
I
a
did
bit
like
a
Uncle
Robin
Buck.
Williams. Like
Yeah.
he's just like a really like he's
Just
he
affable.
rides you to the coattails, but it's like he's cheeky.
Yeah, he's like a bit of a dirty uncle, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, but not like sexualized dirty, but just like
No, yeah, he's
just like wink, kind of wink,
Yeah.
like he's your naughty uncle, isn't he?
He knows he talks about the stuff that your parents don't talk to
Yeah,
you about.
yeah,
And he's like
yeah.
there's no boundary with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It feels like it's like an essential watch for
Mm.
like in terms of like comedies.
I don't think I've seen that many Steve Martin films.
See,
Bar,
that's me neither.
bar cheaper by the dozen, 1 and 2.
Yeah, which
That's
after
probably it.
watching these ones, it's not great.
No,
So
because he is obviously legendary in
He
his
is.
time, but I think he was more SNL, wasn't he? Than
Yeah.
actual, like, I don't know. I can't think of that many films
Yeah.
that he's actually been in.
so another
Father of the
I've got-
Bride.
Yeah, I've got a couple that I've watched recently.
Oh,
so I
of
did a
his.
bit of a
You've done a
binge.
Steve Martin binge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll probably give Plane, Trains and Automobiles a 9
Yeah,
out of
nice.
10. Very good, very good.
Hmm.
I then watched Uncle Buck.
I love it.
Really good.
Yeah, it's a great film.
What's his name? Little Kevin McAllister's.
Yeah, Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, that's it. Macaulay Culkin. He's great in it. That little clip of them where he's like interrogating him
Yeah,
as he's coming in.
yeah. Macaulay Culkin's comedic timing in that film is so good. And there's a line he's got in it, I can't remember. I think it's like when he runs into the mum's bedroom or something like that. I can't quite remember. But he says a line and he just says it so well.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
He is great.
Yeah.
It's something about nuts. It's like, oh, what's another word for nuts?
That
balls.
might be
Another
it.
word for balls.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, nuts.
Yeah, something like that. It's something cracked me up
Yeah.
when I watched it. But yeah. But it is a good, really good film.
But yeah, so I probably give that an 8.5.
Yeah, nice.
It's good, but it's not as good.
No.
It's still very funny though. John Cannon just carries it.
Mm.
I've then watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, which is Steve Martin and Michael Caine,
Okay.
who play these like con men, or like, yeah. So one's basically a successful con man. The other one's like, he just gets by and like, moves from town to town, does whatever.
Yeah, okay.
And like, they play off each other to try and, I think there's like this. So yeah, one of them they both receive this letter.
Yeah, okay.
From this anonymous person trying to like one up them or like so challenge. And then again shenanigans ensue. Very funny. Michael Caine's actually surprisingly funny in it.
Yeah.
They kind of just like
I mean, he is funny in Austin Powers, isn't he?
he is.
He has got some comedic chops on him.
He has. He's talented. But yeah, I'd give that probably give that an 8. It kind of feels like it's quite a long film. I don't think it's really that long, but it just feels like it's quite long. I watched Father of the Bride,
Okay, yeah.
which is very entertaining.
Yeah.
Probably again an 8. Just
Chloe loves that film. I've never
she?
seen it.
I haven't seen. There's number 2 as well. Which
I think they're
didn't
making a
watch.
new one.
Are they?
I think. I can't quite
I
remember.
want to know how old Steve Martin is because he's had white hair for like everything I've seen.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
When was he young?
He's probably I don't know. He's always played some kind of dad figure.
I want to see him as like a child and see what.
He doesn't really look like his aged either, is he?
No, he's in that. Was it Only Murders in the Building?
Yeah.
Apparently that's really.
Do you know what? Someone pointed out something. I saw something on Facebook that was so funny, right? You know, you know the little old lady from Titanic,
Yeah.
right? She's the same age as Paul Rudd is now. I'm not fucking joking. Isn't that absolutely wild?
What?
I saw it on Facebook, yeah. She's
It's
not
like-
that old in that film. She's like 50, 60 or something. Because Paul Rudd's like 55. Something like
Why is
that.
she 55?
I couldn't believe it. Unless it's Facebook bullshit, but I'm pretty sure it was like, it seemed legit. I think it came from like
Well, no, because Titanic happened in 1912.
Right.
When was the film? The film was set in like the 90s.
But it wasn't set in, I think it was set in the...
It must have had enough.
Hang on. It's probably Facebook bullshit,
This is
isn't it?
probably Facebook bullshit.
Let's have a look. How old was...
No,
old...
what year was the film Titanic set in? Like the later
Oh,
bit?
okay, yeah, okay. What year? Sorry, this is riveting. Keep talking about whatever you're talking about. What year? You were talking about The Dirty Scoundrels.
I did that.
Oh.
Father of Bride I watched.
Oh, yeah, Father.
8 point, just an 8. I rewatched for the first time since like it came out in cinemas, the Jim Carrey A Christmas Carol, which was very entertaining.
The animated one.
Yeah, it's actually other than the fact that it's like really uncanny valley, and all the
Yeah.
character models look pretty shocking, other
Yeah.
than Scrooge himself and like the ghosts. It's actually one of the probably better reimaginations of it in recent that I've seen. I think I'd watch it over the Muppets Christmas Carol, even though I do like the Muppets. I just don't think the Christmas Carol...
I really liked the Christmas Carol Muppets.
I just
How
don't...
old was Rose in Titanic when she died? 17. It's not right. The real Rose. I don't know. I can't find it's
You
they're
can't
nightmare
do that.
because the film just keeps saying. I keep trying to find out when it's set, and it just says 1912, and I'm like, no, not that bit. But it's too
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
try and get Google to understand that.
Yeah,
So
fair.
I give that. It's probably Facebook bullshit, but it did make me laugh either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paul Rudd's how old? But you can see it, can't you? Because sometimes you look at like people of that era, and they just look so old, and then they're
Yeah.
like my nan, God rest her soul, she has always looked the same, and I've been alive for 30 years, and she's always looked like the same. She doesn't look the same now because she's dead, but she.
You never know.
Well, yeah, I don't know. She could be sat there in her fucking moo or whatever, like. But do you know what I mean? But to me, she always dressed the same.
Yeah.
She always had the same hair. She always had grey curly hair, and
So is that just joking to you?
no, because I looked at photos and she just looks. I mean, she looks a little bit older,
Yeah.
but she just always looked the same as long
My
as I've
nan's
been
like
alive.
that as well. To be
Yeah?
fair.
Isn't it weird though?
It is like she's like getting on. I think late 70s now,
Yeah,
and she doesn't look like that at all.
yeah,
Maybe she was maybe 80, but she
Yeah.
looks like she was when she was 60.
Yeah.
Which is
Good
what
on
I
her.
remember. As as far as
Yeah.
back as I can remember.
yeah. Yeah, fair.
It's not until you go back to like the black and white pictures where you're like, oh shit, yeah, that's old.
Yeah.
That's like you can see but you can see where it started
Yeah,
and how it got to where it is now.
fair.
Same with both of them.
Yeah. Sorry, I tuned out while I was trying to solve
Yeah.
our Titanic dilemma. But have you? Where were you at?
I was at
Have you gone
Christmas-
through them
I was
all?
at
or?
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Who's it directed by? Is it Robert Zemeckis? Because
It is.
It is Robert Zemeckis. Because the
Yeah.
same animation as like Beowulf
Express.
and Polar Express.
Yeah, so it's like
But
it's
weird,
actually
isn't it?
probably looks worse than
Yeah.
Polar Express, even though it came out
Yeah.
after.
I always think the Muppets Christmas Carol is hilarious because Michael Caine. I feel
He's
like they
not
get
a good Scrooge.
Well, he's not a good Scrooge, but also there's no humour to it at all.
No.
And I feel like they gave him the brief where they were like, can you just keep it light? Like, you're going to be acting with puppets. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we want a bit of serious, but we want to be a bit light. And he's like, I'm going to do this as serious as possible.
Literally.
It's really weird, the film.
And he's like he only sings one song, doesn't he? at the end.
Yeah, when he's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a weird ass film.
Mm.
But I
But
used to
the
love it as
Muppets
a
are
kid.
great
That
in
and
it.
Treasure Island I
Yeah.
used to love when I was a kid.
I think I've seen the Muppets. I mean, actually, my first proper Muppets film was The Muppets that came out in 2013.
With the Ricky Gervais.
Jason Segel.
Jason Segel.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais is the second one,
Yeah.
maybe. I've never seen them, and I've never seen the OG Muppets movie. I've only seen Treasure Island and the Christmas Carol one.
Maybe that's one for us to watch.
Yeah, I do like the Muppets.
It's Kermit.
I keep getting Kermit. Have you seen the Dirty Kermit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they keep coming up
Massive
on my
knob.
Facebook, and he's just there like, "Oh, hi there."
Oh, no, that one.
With his fucking cucumber dick.
No, I know that one. I was thinking of the picture.
Oh no!
It's like literally.
It's like on Omegle or something like
there's
that.
a picture where he's sat. It's like a painting of like a portrait of him. He's sat like on this stool and he's just got a massive green knob.
like the.
It's like slimy and it reaches the floor.
No, the one I've seen is like he's on Omegle.
Yeah.
And then he'll like talk to people, and then he'll just like flashes cucumber dick up.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Good old Kermit. Well hung.
But yeah, I did actually also watch Muppets Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, nice. What are all these on Disney?
Yeah, yeah. And then to top it all off, I watched my favourite rendition of Christmas Carol,
which is the older one, isn't it?
1970 Scrooge.
Yeah. Which
I'm trying to get you guys to watch.
Yeah.
But
well, to be honest, we would have done more Christmassy things, but it just hasn't worked out this year. I watched a little bit of Miracle on 34th Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was on telly the other day, and I didn't realise that Richard Attenborough was Santa in it.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty cool.
I've never seen it.
I saw like literally like 2 minutes of it, and Santa was there, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's fucking Jurassic Park, man!"
Yeah,
Richard Attenborough, which I've never seen him in anything other than Jurassic Park, because he's like the Great Escape, isn't he, Richard Attenborough? I think, and then he's directed some things. Like he's done a few classic films. I have seen The Great Escape, but I was a kid and I didn't really remember it that well. Have you seen it? You could watch that.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah. I've seen the classic bit where he tries to jump over the fence, isn't it?
I always thought he was related to Lightning McQueen when I was a kid. After what? Because obviously I watched Cars first.
Yeah.
Without even having a preconception of McQueen.
Mm-hmm.
So then Steve McQueen comes along. Is that his brother or something? So he's a car as well.
Fucking hell.
How did it come before?
Yeah. What came first, the car or the actor?
The lightning, the thunder or the lightning?
Thunder or the lightning, yeah. Oh dear.
Kachiga.
Yeah. I actually had an idea for our 3-2-1 challenge next year.
Right.
Sorry, not our 3-2-1 challenge.
Come film with me.
Oh, come film with me. I thought we could do a come film with me, which I thought would be really interesting if we pick films that none of us had seen. So I'd like pick a film that maybe was on my radar, something I've heard is good, and then be like, we all need to watch this, but I've actually never seen it. Because then it's
done that with our that's like watching a new film though, isn't it?
Kind of. But
we're
still like competing about it to say, like based off your instincts. Whose instincts are better? Yeah.
Right. Who's got a better eye for a diamond in the rough?
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think that could be quite interesting.
Who's heard the better rumours?
Yeah. I mean, I got shitloads on my list, but yeah. Anyway, are you finished your...
I am. That's my roundup.
You've streamed through them all?
Yeah.
You score them all?
I didn't score all of them, but I don't think all of them need a score. Christmas Carols kind of just go down. Yeah, classics, you're right.
Cool. Alright, well I might talk about a couple of things, and then if you're sorted, I'm
sorted now.
We can wrap up. I'm going to talk about Arcane, and then I might just piss through a couple. I was going to wait for our good friend Callum, but his adventures in fruit have left him rectally impaired. So I'm going to talk about Arcane Season 2, which is, I'm a bit sad that I haven't got Callum to talk about with, but hey. So you haven't seen any of it, have you?
Nope.
So Arcane, for the uninitiated, is based off of League of Legends lore and story. I'm not a League of Legends player. I think the game is unequivocally terrible. I mean, it's probably not. If you love clicking on things endlessly, I'm sure it's great. But it ain't my cup of tea. It's too I just feel like it's for pussy gamers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or
I
like
sound
Chinese people.
like I'm not going to be one of those people that get Chinese people.
All the Chinese people I know were fucking
mad
unreal, and they were unreal.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel like and I'm not really one to be like a gatekeeper of like gamers to be like, oh, if you only play COD and FIFA, you're not really a gamer. Like, I'm not like that, but I do just feel like League of Legends is one of those things that people who play it don't really play anything
No.
else. They play that,
That's like
maybe
more
Dota.
like an
I don't know.
e-sport game.
Yeah, it's just a bit ass. But when the first season of Arcane came out, the reviews were absolutely like glistening for it, and I watched it, and it is like one of the best seasons of television I've ever seen. It's so good, beautifully animated, great story, stunning voice acting. Like it ticks all the boxes, and the world building's amazing as well. Season 2 is pretty much on par for season 1. Not quite, but very close. So it's still separated into sort of 3 acts, 3 episodes an act. The first 2 acts are really strong. I think they feel like they go through quite quickly, but I was binging it because I was so excited to watch it.
Yeah.
But there's similar high points. The animation's unbelievable. The story is, I don't think the story is as focused because it's bigger. The first season I felt was really focused on the sort of formation of this war that's kind of brewing and this fractured relationship between 2 sisters. Whereas this one, the war's kind of started and then it kind of comes down a bit and then it kind of peaks at the end. Like it's all, there's quite a lot going on. There's almost too much. It does handle it, most of it, really well. It does keep it within its scope, but it just feels a little bit like, ooh, okay, there's a lot going on. And then the 3rd act comes along, and then the 3rd act starts off really strong. It's got a really rock solid episode, which is kind of like an alternate timeline episode, which has been like revered as one of the strongest episodes. And then it kind of, the next episode's fine, and the last episode is good, but it's so rushed. It kind of like talks about something, and then it just drops you in the middle of this battle, which feels like it's been already happened for a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just kind of, yeah, I don't know. It just went a bit unsatisfyingly to me. It ended on a little bit of a low, and that is like the finale. They're only going to do 2 seasons of this particular story. But the animation, the animation's unbelievable. There's a bit in the 2nd act, can't remember if it's episode 5 or 6, where basically there's I'm gonna try not to spoil it too much. I am gonna spoil it because you're not gonna really care and you'll probably forget by the time you do.
Callum's editing.
Callum, if Callum hasn't seen it, I'd be surprised. To be fair,
Do it flawlessly so we haven't got to edit anything.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I'm sure he would have seen it because I know how much he was excited for it. Basically, there's like a character. I won't say the names then, but there's a character that gets turned into a character that's died previously, didn't actually die, and they. Basically this character that's died in a previous season, he basically doesn't quite die, and then they turn him into this like monster, and then they take him to this sort of healer, but the healer needs to like sort of cleanse his mind is the very basic way to put it. He needs to cleanse his mind, to separate his consciousness from this monster. But the imagery surrounding that is absolutely unbelievable. Like, it's some of the most, because you don't quite realise what you're seeing for like a few seconds unless you're really like astutely paying attention. So there'll be like, it's almost like space, it's like matter and space. And then you'll realise that the way the stars and the like clouds and the wisps and the auroras or whatever are kind of shaped around to make the face of the monster or the person that is existing within this monster.
Yeah.
And it just looks so fucking good. I literally sat there, I was like, oh fuck, like audibly sat on my own, just been like, oh fuck. It was so good, yeah. It was, that was probably one of my favourite like parts of it. But yeah, but Ella Pennell's voice acting as Jinx is just rock solid. It's all really good all the way through, all the voice acting, but she is a highlight. She's so fucking batty in it. But I'd say she's slightly less batty in this because she's in a sort of redemption arc as opposed to the first one where she's a kid in the first act, and then act 2 and 3 is where she has gone off the deep end because she's been sort of manipulated by a character. But yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10 overall. Still banging, just doesn't end quite as well as I was hoping, but you know, these things never really do. It's quite hard to stick the landing on shows, most shows.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about Shogun.
Oh,
Shogun?
no spoilers.
No spoilers. No, that's fine. To be honest, it's quite hard to spoil because it is kind of quite confusing. So watch the season of Shogun. So Shogun, I can't remember what the book is based off, but the first season is based off of a book. They only intended it to be 1 season, but it's done so well they are going to make a 2 and a 3, which will be based off of new material as opposed to pre-existing material. Now, I think that watching it, it's the closest I've come to that sort of Game of Thrones like level of like quality of dialogue, plotting, production value. Like, it's so good. It's really good. You can't really. It's really hard, and I don't mean to sound the way that it might come across, because all the characters are Japanese, and because a lot of it is in Japanese and obviously it's subtitled. It's quite hard to keep track of who the characters are. My score is a 9 out of 10. I'm just going to say that straight off the bat. It's a 10 out of 10 show, but I think it would be a 10 out of 10 on a second viewing. Because, and I did it with Game of Thrones. I liked the first season, but there are so many fucking characters that it's really hard to keep track of who's who until you just know them so well. This is the same. The characters are all brilliant, but it's even harder when it's a different culture, when you don't quite notice the differences that separate them as much. And I think for the creators' effort, they do quite a good job of trying to distinguish who they are, and you know the really the main characters, but some of the, like, for want of a better word, there seems to be like a few wives kicking around, and you don't see them for a couple episodes, and they come back, and I'm like, I don't know
Where
who
the fuck
the
have you been?
Yeah, I don't know who you are, who you're connected to, what your allegiances are. I'm like, I'm just totally lost. But it's it feels like it's really indulgent watching it. It's just a really well made show. It's definitely understands its culture. Do you know what I mean? And I think I don't know anything much about Japanese culture. From what I've seen, I assume it is correct. But if it is, it's painstakingly goes through what would have been like culture at the time for Japanese, and things like seppuku, and I think it's called seppuku, and just all this stuff, and how they are and how they treat death, and blah 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 blah. Like, it's amazing. But the story's really good, full of huge twists and turns. You're kind of grounded in essence, because it's quite clever. The story is clever, whoever wrote the book or whatever originally, because it's about the Catholics and the Protestants, and the Catholics have been in Japan for years, but basically have kind of been using them for their exports or whatever, and to spread the word of God. And then basically you're not the main character, but the character who you kind of see a lot of it through is an English Protestant, and obviously they didn't get along really at any point in history, did they? The Catholics and the Protestants, for whatever fucking reason. But he's like our like vassal into this show, because things are explained to him, which we know we're kind of being explained to him, that then he explains it to us. But what I was really concerned about when I started watching it was the like translation scenes, because there's quite a lot of scenes where he's talking to a character, his translator will then, and it does it like that, and they're so fascinating. They do it so well, because what he might say might not be repeated word for word by the interpreter, because the interpreter's his friend, but is also trying to make it sound more approachable to someone else. And then sometimes he has what he said hasn't been directly translated.
You get the subtitles.
You get the subtitles for Japanese, and then what he's saying is in English, and you get that, and then and it's quite savage in some parts of it, to be fair. But it's
good that they use it as like a tool. In it, like in the show, so it's not like a.
It's used for narrative purpose, and not just being like for the sake of being like, oh well, we have to translate it, so we have to spend time on it. And then some scenes where there's like extended periods of this, they like speed it up and cut bits out and just like keep the dialogue ramped up. Yeah, it's fucking good. It definitely deserved all its awards. But there's not really much to say on it. It's just hard. I think it's hard on a first watch, and me and Chloe didn't watch it in the best way, because we watched it quite spread out. We didn't binge it. We've probably been watching it for like at least 2 months. So by the time we've come back to it, we've been a bit like... But I do think it reminds me of Game of Thrones, that I think it would benefit a second watch.
Right.
Because it's just a bit like, fuck, there's a lot of characters. And two English people, they do look similar.
They do.
And I said, especially with the women characters, I was a bit like, I don't know where some of you have gone. What the fuck is going on? But yeah, it's cool. The combat's cool. But there's not that much like big fighting in it.
No.
It's much more like early Game of Thrones, where it remembered that the dialogue was what sold the show, and not the massive battlescapes. And that is what this show does really well.
Okay.
But yeah, I give it a 9 out of 10. But it is a 10 out of 10 show. It's just, I just think it. I think it is at a disadvantage if you don't watch it a second time.
Right.
I just think
Or
it's
if you
quite,
don't watch it all in a one.
or you don't watch it all in quick succession. But I think even if you did, I think you'd struggle. I mean, if you, I'm hoping you watch it at some point, you'd see what I mean. It's just a bit like, oh fuck, okay, like I don't remember quite who you are or who you're with, or yeah, there's just so much going on, and it does weave. It weaves between them really well. But yeah, no, it was decent,
Wicked.
well acted.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching.
That's it
or
for
listening.
this week.
Yeah.
We will be back again next
So
week.
so next week will be our final episode of the year. We are going to talk about our best of the year.
Yeah.
So our favourite new release and old release of each of our sort of 3 categories, depending on how much we've played or watched.
Or at least
you
things
might...
that have come out this year.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to do the best new and old release of a film, a game, and a TV show. Whereas you might do it for film and TV show, maybe, but you're probably not going to do it for game.
No, I don't think. Fucking FIFA and the new card.
Fucking casual.
Yeah, mate.
So yeah, and then we're gonna discuss whether we've reached our 3-2-1 challenge, because we set it at the end of last year, so this would be the last point. So we'll go through our 3-2-1 challenge and see if we've hit it, and then if we haven't, punish those who haven't. Callum, if you're listening, if you do end up editing it, I feel like I can't remember what yours were, but I feel like he had quite a lot left.
I don't know.
I think because he's done a TV shows and did his games.
Yeah.
So I think he only had because he changed his game to Final Fantasy, didn't he, and not Red Dead. He might be alright then.
Yeah, I think
We'll
it's
see.
films. Maybe one of his films.
Yeah. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
But yeah, get them done. So I'm nearly there. But we'll review some of our sort of final 3-2-1 stuff next week, along with our best of the year, and wish you all a Merry Christmas when we get there.
We'll catch you next time, ladies and gents.
Thank you for listening or watching.